Hello, family. Good evening, and welcome to our day 11 of the Smart Financial Move series. How are you doing today? My name is Jide Neye. If you are joining me for the first time, I'm your smart financial educator, and I talk to people of my color, especially here in the diaspora. Where we talk about financial matters and things that can help you make smart financial decisions. Good evening. It's been a very hot day. I practically have my fan on. I just want to confirm. Hope it's not noisy. Hope the sound of the fan is not noisy and it's not disturbing us today. Alright, so I just have to have it on so that I can stay alive. How has been your day? How is Monday? Are you saying thank God it's Monday or oh it is Monday again? We are grateful. One of the things which I've lived to always do is to have gratitude. Why? I'm not competing against anybody, but I'm competing against the former version of me. So for everywhere I pay attention to my journey and I know I'm on my path, so I might start today being an employee, start today working for somebody, start today doing what I don't really enjoy doing, but I know that's not my future. That's just a moment. So I try to maximize each moment. So sometimes you need to wake up and say, thank God it is Monday. Right? Because for you, it should be a countdown towards where you want to be in life. We started something about 11 days ago, which we call the Smart Financial Move series. And my name is Jide Neye. If you are joining me for the first time, your favorite financial educator here on TikTok, and I've been doing this for the past 11 days, right? I do it once every quarter where I come off streaming back to back for roughly 15 days minimum, covering different topics that could help us make and position ourselves in a good condition financially, especially those of us who are in the UK. And I used to work as a digital marketing manager for a logistics firm, one of the biggest logistics firms here in the UK before I resigned, and now I am on my own. So I have my own personal digital marketing agency. I teach finance here on TikTok. That's what many people know me for. So for me, the work is to help people to understand that you cannot have the kind of life you are looking for by depending on the system. The system was never designed to make you wealthy. The system was never designed to give you the kind of life that you came here to look for. So the moment you stop looking up to the system and you make up your mind to ask yourself, why did I come here? There is a reason why I came here. So what am I doing to move towards why I came here? Trust me, you don't know how much liberty and liberation you can start experiencing, by reason of asking the right question. If not, you will unfortunately be doing the same thing again and again for another 5 years, and it seems to look like there's no results. Not because you are not enlightened, not because you are not passionate, but because what you are building on is not meant to carry you to where you want to get to. And it's important for you to understand the system whenever you enter into a place. What is their aim? And one thing I've come to settle in myself, no matter where I am, is to understand that places don't make people. It is people that make things out of places. So I can put you in quotes the most extremely beneficial place, or I can put you in the worst case scenario. What you become is not a product of the fact that this is where you found yourself. It is what you do with what you get there, what you do when you were there. So it's important for us to understand that, for instance, for most of us who are in the diaspora, I'm in the UK, for instance. If you look at the system was designed in a way whereby you should use your most active season, serving another man, building another man's dream, building another man's business. And when it gets to a age, or to that age whereby you are tired, they give you what we call retirement. At the point of retirement, you are left with, number one, whatever you have built for yourself. All right, so many of us, unfortunately, if that is all we are doing, what will be left with is what we call the pension. And there are two kinds of pension opportunities you have here in the UK. You have the one which is your personal pension, which technically is being removed regularly from your current, what do we call that, from your current salary. And the other one is what we call the state pension. And for you to get a state pension means that you must be doing NI contribution regularly. If you look at your pay slip, you will notice that NI is being deducted, NIC consistently. That's the purpose. That's what it's meant for. But many of us have not sat down to ask ourselves, if I use the most active season of my life to do this 9 to 5, building another man's dream, creating, in quotes, fulfillment for another man's vision. When I am done with this and I'm left with myself, what I will end up with, will he able to give me the kind of settlement? We're not even talking freedom now. Will he be able to give me the kind of settlement that I would need at that age in my life? So many of us need to sit down and ask ourselves, do you know that the current state pension at the point of retirement, you are only entitled to, as I think it's around £32 per day. So if you add everything together, it's almost around $920. 900. I don't dey talk dollars, guys. Dollars is in my head this season. Right, so don't mind me. I can be mixing the currency symbols together. So that means we're looking at another in a month. In a month means that's 920 something pounds per month. So imagine somebody who has been working all the active season of his life. He has been building another man's dream. He's been earning salary. He's been putting money down in his own pension. He's been doing his NI contribution. So he did that from the age he entered UK till 67. So roughly around 30 something years of his life, he used to do that thing. So let's assume he did that for 35 years of his life. Have you sat down to ask yourself that how many of us can even qualify for that full £920 per month at the time of retirement? So somebody who was earning over 2k plus when he was actively working, now that you are retired, you'll be earning less. Why? Because you were depending on the system. You were depending on all what the system, and I told you guys, it's all about control. Anybody who is controlling your pathway, controlling your earning potential, controlling what you are doing with your life in that extent is controlling what you will become. So you must understand that if I put my life, for instance, in the hand of Fally here, for instance, Fally Cute, the question I'm asking myself is, does Fally Cute have my success in their plan? Is my prosperity, is my progress in their game plan? Do I need to wait until 20 years later to discover if what Fally was designing for me was for my prosperity? With what Fally is designing, can I tell myself that 10 years into what he has designed, I want to have my life back? And it will not sound as though I am starting from the scratch. It will this sound as if I don't have anything sorting me out. So this is why we have to understand that it's not so much of how hard working you are. It's not so much of how much shift you are packing. It's not so much of how many jobs you are doing every month. The question is that kind of thing. Who is determining what you take home? If at the end of every month I work very hard and HMRC is taking more, so HMRC is saying the more you earn, the more you pay. The reward for earning more is to pay more. Trust me, this is not how the wealthy people build their life. So you have to sit down and ask yourself, the train I am entering, is it going to take me to the direction I want to get to? In as much as I'm putting extra effort and I'm working hard, will I get close to where I want to be? So can you see that speed is important, but much more direction is important than speed? I can be running fast, but I'm running in the wrong direction. I don't need to wait until 20 years later to discover that the direction where I'm running is the wrong direction. And this, I tell people that the season where you are now is one of the most active season of your life. Now you can afford to do extra shifts. You can afford to do many things. The question is, what are you doing to take care of your older you? What are you doing so that when you're older, you see me, you're not getting younger. See me, see as my BS. You see the thing on the show why it's more sport. You will never remain this young for the rest of your life. But whatever you do now is what will take care of you. Your work, when it gets to a point and they don't find you relevant again, there's another young chap that is coming somewhere from behind the scene that is learning how to use AI. There's another young chap that has bite, that has drive, that will be coming after you. So, in another 10, 15 years, your desire, your pursuit to become more relevant in terms of career development will keep shrinking down. So it's not bad to do 9 to 5. It's not bad to follow the system, but you need to sit down in hindsight and ask yourself, is this what I came to settle in for? So that's why you have to understand that the moment you start holding yourself responsible for your outcome and asking yourself, what should I do or what do I need to do to give me the kind of future that I really came here to settle for, then I need to start clapping for you at that level. Why? Because you are understanding the real game of life. That nobody is here to rescue you, nobody is here to save you. It is what you do for yourself that will determine what you will become. So, in other words, I'm not living a life. In fact, right now, I'm not even living a life to try to impress anybody. As long as my bank account is impressed and my future me is saying thank you for what you are building, then I think I'm doing well. So it's important for you to ask yourself 80% of my energy, where am I exerting it into? Am I exerting it into things that in the next 30 years of my life, it will still be there to feed me? That's a really big one. Is he going to still be there to feed me? And this is why I like the scripture, the Bible. So, no offense to those who are not Christians here. God said something in the book of Proverbs. He said, "Oh, ye sluggard." He said, "Go to the ant and learn." He said, during summer, remember all of us are in summer now. During summer, you know what the ant will do? The ant will be packing food and putting in its colony. So instead of the ant behaving like what every average people in the UK currently is doing, summer is the period to spend more money. Why? Because there's many more things to buy. All in the name of the sun is out now. You see people spending money without preparing for the future, without planning for the future. He said, go to the hands and learn. He said, during summer, when everybody is doing loud spending, when everybody is trying to meet up with the Joneses, the ant is putting food in his colony. Why? Because the ant recognize that there will be another season called winter, whereby you feel like working, but the capacity to do more is reducing, whereby every other thing is moving at a slower pace. So when winter comes now, every other person seemingly is complaining, but because the ant has packed and he has put in reserve during summer, when winter comes, there's no change in season to the ant. Why? Because it's still living in consistent abundance. Guys, in your life, there will be a period that will be your winter season. That season whereby you don't have energy to do work like you are doing it again. They will even beg you with 10-hour shift. You say, no, I cannot do it. When I say this season of your life is a gift, what are you using it to do? What are you building with it? Is it just cruise? Maybe when you are in Nigeria, I can be concerned with your life expectancy. Here in the UK, many of us will live very old. Very old. But the point is, how would that stage of my life be? Will I be depending on some guys? You need to tap so that TikTok does not tell us to that the stream might be ending because of lack of engagement. Just keep tapping so that it can attract more people to it. So we need to sit down. If you reason the way I'm reasoning now, you will understand that it is to your benefit. It's to your benefit if you are paying in now so that you can enjoy later. But there's no way you can enjoy now and enjoy later. It is really difficult, especially for most of us that came from the third world country, or we came from somewhere in Nigeria, somewhere in Africa. The fact that we are coming here to start from the scratch already, life seemingly looks like it's leading us by 2-0. So I cannot be working like somebody who has been here for 30 years before I came. I can't be working like somebody who came here at age 15. I know that the time is ticking. Many of you need to go to field and go and run with your children. And you find out that after 10 minutes, you are the one panting the most. Your body is already telling you that you are not the same you used to be before. So if you know that the resources I have right now, with respect to time, seemingly look like it's limited, can I be building it like somebody who does not have a game plan, does not have a focus? Can I be using that season now to be building and waiting for the government, waiting for the system to take care of me? No, you cannot do that. Why? Because you must know that you become responsible for whatever you are becoming today. And that is why we say, what is the pathway? How do we start moving? Yes, every one of us will come in as an employee, which is not bad. Averagely, everybody, even me myself, I came in as an employee, as a depend. Even though I'm a dependent, I became an employee in the system. So I'd worked at Tesco, I'd worked at O2 Arena, I'd worked at Amazon Warehouse. All these things seemingly look like the same thing. Practically, many of us will start with if you are not doing care. But how do you move from that place and ask yourself, am I maximizing the season of my life? Am I maximizing this month? Is this the best I can earn this month? So for me, I started by moving into the corporate space where I became a digital marketing executive for one of the biggest logistics firm here in the UK. Not because I came in with UK experience, oh no, I came in barely like every one of us. That was in 2022. Within 4 months, I was promoted from being a digital marketing executive to becoming a digital marketing manager in an organization whereby I was almost the only black I can see in most of our meetings that is a managerial level. So you have to understand that if you don't create that pathway, it will look like life is difficult. And within 2 years of working in that same space, I've been able to move myself before even moving out of that place. Just by using this same thing I'm talking about, a game plan to my advantage, I've been able to create another system, which many of us call side hustle, that was able to generate more than my salary in a year, in a month, in a year. Yes, in a year. So what I earned from my side hustle in a year was more than my take home in my digital marketing manager as a corporate worker. You know what that told me? That told me that yes, I could be earning as an employee, but am I maximizing my potentials? Am I maximizing my opportunity? If people can pay me in my 9 to 5 space for what I am doing, are there bigger people that are willing to pay for it? Guys, there's a limit to how much my salary can increase. In a year, maximum in a corporate space, 3%. Unfortunately, there will be many of us that in the 5 years, our salary will not increase except if government increase the minimum wage. And you came into this country with several years of experience in several things you were doing before coming here. And I'm saying, is this what you came to settle for? While you are doing this, can you open your eyes and ask yourself, what is the problem that my gift or my skills can solve? In exchange, people can pay me for it. People pay for value. You were employed because of the value you are creating. But there's a peg on how much can come into your hand at the end of the month. Can you shift from that place and ask yourself, what's another bigger value that I can create solution for and people are willing to exchange money for? Before I did what I said to you, I was in overdraft debt of minus £2,800, even though I'm a digital marketing manager. But because I opened my eyes and I asked myself, what is the problem that my skill can solve? What is the problem that I can create a solution for that people are willing to exchange for money? By taking that decision all through last year, and by the grace of God, I have no reason to use overdraft debt, no reason to depend on credit card. We are saying if you keep waiting and following this, you see that immigration rules are the least of our problem. If you keep waiting and following the system, or just keep saying, okay, we'll keep struggling, we'll keep pushing it. The question is, do you know that time, with respect to time, you are not getting younger? With respect to time, your energy to push is reducing. So for every time I'm waking up, I'm asking myself, how can I maximize this season of my life? The gift of time, the gift of today, how can I maximize it? So that tomorrow we'll see what I have done today and we'll say thank you for making the most of it. And this is why we're having the conversation that you cannot keep waiting. Your life is too significant for you to keep waiting for one system, for one rule, for one policy to make you what you wanted to become here in this country. So you have to sit down and ask yourself this critical journey this year. What else am I doing that can bring income beyond my salary? And why is this important? Guys, excuse me. If salary is the only means of your earning in this country, you are just one step away from disaster. God forbid, that I keep praying for people that God will never have a reason why your COS will be revoked or your workplace will have a reason to downscale. And I pray the second prayer that you will not have any health issue that will make it difficult for you to walk. And that's why I say today is a gift. This season of your life is a gift. The question is, what are you doing? What are you building? What you are building when your own winter season come with your future, you will need look back and say, thank you, Jide. You made the most of this time. Will my future me look at me and say, thank you for investing. Thank you for going into property. Thank you for doing this business. Now, it's not just about our kids alone. Will my future me look back and also be grateful for this? And this is the conversation we've been having again and again and again and again. We've looked into several topics. The topics, I've uploaded most of the videos on my YouTube. So we've talked about understanding the system. We've spoken about dealing with debts. We've spoken about understanding the credit reporting system, the credit report in this country. We've spoken about budget and creating a financial system to your advantage. We've spoken about the different quadrants, which is what I have been picking gradually again in this conversation. We've spoken about career growth. For those who are in the career space, how can I grow myself from a career space? We've spoken about self-employment. How do you create a side hustle that will take care of you, not just now, but in the future? How do you grow all those things? We've spoken about it. We had a conversation around the insurance, so that we are not just using the blood of Jesus alone to protect ourselves, and would not have any reason to have a GoFundMe link for us in the future. So how do you position yourself in all those things? And we also spoke about building the next generation. Wow, it was an awesome one. Thank you, bro. Building the next generation. Many of us say we came into this country because of our children. What are you really doing? You don't even have time for those children. Thank you so much, bro. You don't have time for them. Daddy has gone to park shift. So you have committed the growth and the becoming of your children into the schooling system. 40 hours every week. Your children is in an environment whereby you are not sure if what they are saying is aligning with the kind of future you want to build for your children. Thank you so much, my people. Thank you. You are not sure if it's in alignment with the kind of future you want to build for your children. Parenting in this country is something you have to be deliberate about, so that these children will not settle for less. They will not become a reflection of what you used to be. So you have to be deliberate. We spoke about that. Yesterday, I spoke about networking, mentoring, and accountability. That was quite another deep section. Guys, many of us sometimes feel like it is only money we need, but there are certain parameters and framework that you have to build around you so that the money you are making can be sustainable, can move from one generation to another generation. It's important we have to be thinking, build ourselves. Now, today we ought to talk about business, but my guest had to add a very important, what do we call it now? A important thing in there to respond to. But today, I already know me, I already have something to say. I have a topic I want us to consider today: asset and liability. I want us to have that conversation today. Asset and liability. Guys, it's going to be another personal, critical, inward reflection. But you know what? It's going to be telling you what you are building towards that older version of you. If what you are doing now, if it's going to take care of the older version of you, this conversation today is a good pointer in that direction. Guys, you must understand that money is not what makes you wealthy. Money is not what makes you wealthy. It's the capacity to recreate or reproduce is what makes for wealth. Money is a temporal thing, but the ability to take that thing, how are you, Sharon, and convert it to a system that can keep reproducing is what creates a wealth system. And that is why the richest man is temporal. The richest man this year might not be the richest man next year or 3 years time. Why? Because all they are measuring is a metric, is a number, which is to show you that that is just a temporal thing. But the ability for that man to create system whereby he can make more. For instance, look at our own Aliko Dangote. By just buying or creating a refinery, building a refinery, has a potential of increasing his capacity. So it could be called the richest man in Africa 2026. That doesn't mean he will be the richest man in Africa in 2029. Can you see that money is not what makes for wealth? Capacity to reproduce, create a system whereby you can churn it up again and again is what we are talking about towards wealth. So another thing you need to understand that in this kind of journey, debt and liability is not a privilege, it is a product. We're talking about liability as against assets. What is a liability? What's an asset? How can we build that? How can we have this mindset so that our future us can be happy when they see the version of what we become based on what you are building now? So you don't need to wait till the end before you can see what it will become. With what you are structuring and what you are doing in this topic we want to talk about today can already give you a projection of what the future will look like from a wealth perspective. So debt and liability is not a privilege, it is a product. It is not a favor from God. It is a system. I call it a system of making those who created it rich, especially because of the way many of us use it for debt. But liability is always never going to make you wealthy. That's the simple truth. Because when I define what a liability is now, you will understand what I'm saying. Now, you have to understand that what makes for success is not money. Remember, I told you, it is what you do with the money. So for me, I see money as a seed. I see money as a seed that when I plant it, it has the potential of producing for my future. So money is not the immediate enjoyment of what I have. I don't see money that way. I see money as a seed that when I plant that seed, it has the potential of taking care of my future. And I say that to say, please stop wearing your seed. Invest it into your future. Stop putting on your seed. If all you earn is going as it is coming, I'm asking, what are you doing for your future? If I look at my wardrobe and I have to match, I have all the shoes I could ever ask and I could ever think of. Do you know that that same money is a seed for your future? I tell people that many of us would most likely find it difficult to buy a house. Why? Because we've not understood or found out that the down payment of our house is sitting in our wardrobe. The down payment for our house is sitting in the car finance, £23,000 that we went to borrow, that we will keep paying. Even after you get ILR, 7 years after, you will still pay for it. So what you are doing, if you are living in the moment alone, you are killing the future, the possibility of the future becoming something. So it's important for you to know that money in your hand is a seed. In other words, we do what our people used to tell us, that you don't use your 10 hands to eat. Why? Because you are thinking of the future. It's just like a farmer that had a bumper harvest. He had over 10 tons of grains that was harvested this year. Do you know that what will next year become, all things being equal, is inside the harvest of what he had this year? You see why I tell people that when you earn salary, at least make sure that 10% of your salary is going as seed into a system that will work for you. You cannot keep working for money all your life because your energy will not keep increasing. So I'm asking, what are you sending into your future as a seed so that it can take care of your future? So it's important for us to understand that this consumer appetite that we have is the environment for slavery. Why? Because you keep going to work, to earn, to spend, work to earn, to spend, work to earn, to spend. Is it bad to consume? It's not bad. But you must understand that it's a portion that is meant for consumption, another portion for your future. I'm asking you, are you paying your future you today? How? By sowing seeds with the money you are earning. Go out, you work hard 9 to 5. They send you £1,800 at the end of the month. Do you know that the thing that will take care of your future beyond your pension? If it's pension you are still depending on, make I laugh you small. Beyond your pension, what will take care of your future you is still inside that £1,800. So you have to understand that being a consumer all your life is an easy way of creating a slavery system whereby you have to keep working hard again and again. That's why by 27th of this month now, some of us will collect salary, will be pumped up again. Before the end of the month, everything is gone. So imagine doing that for another 3 years, another 4 years, another 5 years, and you don't have the option to say, I don't even want to work for 1 month and 2 months, and things will not collapse. Guys, remember what I said. You will never keep looking like this from an energy perspective. Your ability to work hard and to run, to pack many shifts will keep reducing with time. And this is why we need to understand, what are we doing or engaging our money with? Am I using it to build a liability, or am I using it to build assets for myself? And that's why we have this conversation. So our work is to shift from the slavery mentality into ownership mentality. You have to ask yourself, how can I move from this system of dependency for the rest of my life till I retire on one person, one stream of income, one set of people, one rule, one policy? How can I shift from that place to move into ownership mentality? By ownership means, how can I move from being just a consumer to become a producer, to start creating? Please, wealth runs by creating systems. And this is what makes it different from riches. Riches is just money. Riches is money. Wealth is systems. Systems whereby I can pull something into it and it has the ability to multiply. So wealth is not money. Wealth is, let me look at the system that you are running. If 9 to 5 is the only system that you are running, it's already telling me if this guy or this kind of person will be able to generate wealth. So what that person will be able to generate is riches, money. It will be 2,000 pounds rich at the end of every month. It will be 15 pounds rich at the end of every month. But unfortunately, because that system is not meant to create, so before the end of next month, the 2,000 pounds will most likely be left with 200 pounds. Some even overdraft. Yeah, because what the person is focusing on is rich, money. But it's not creating wealth by creating systems whereby money can keep coming in and going out. Guys, if anybody lies to you, and I'm being honest to you, and is telling you that, and please, I'm not talking about going to start a business. I'm asking you, what system are you creating? What system are you creating that can create returns for you regularly? What system are you creating that can bring funds for you regularly? Guys, there are some big things that will elude some people. Why? Because there was no preparation. There was no seed on ground when opportunity showed up. I remember I was talking to some of my community members, was it last year? And I said, some of you, you need to push your vacation plan. That vacation plan that you have put 2,000 pounds plus now, can you push it to the future? Why? And the reason why I say so is, how many of you, if a landed property opportunity show up in Abuja, where you were coming from, how many of you can have something to use to secure it? How many of you, if you saw a distress sale today, and you know that the amount they are selling that thing is less than the real worth of it, how many of you have seeds on ground that can really tap into it? Guys, you must understand how wealth is created. Wealth is, I like calling it this way. Wealth, sometimes, some people, they call them luck, but I don't call it luck. Why? Because the wealth meant preparation. How do I mean? Let me look for a good example to explain this. So, for instance, we are in our own property right now by the grace of God. You know what I like about the property? It's about 3 minutes walk for our children's school. It's a 3-bedroom, 2 toilets. It has a solar system fully paid for on it. So we came in, we are not trying to look for solar, it's fully paid for. The energy rating of the property is an A rating. So you should understand what I'm saying. So you should look at what kind of potential that property is. So imagine when the opportunity for the property opened up. But because there was no futuristic system that we have created to understand that wealth is exchanged based on the seeds that you have put on ground, an opportunity meets that seed, bam, and suddenly they say, wow, he's lucky. If we did not create that kind of thing way ahead of time, Why am I saying this? Why? Because opportunities that will most likely change your life will not come knocking 7 months ago that I'm coming in 2026 August. So prepare for me. I'm saying so. Why? Because the moment you start understanding that money in your hand is a seed, is a tool to secure some exponential possibility in your future, you'll find out that you don't consume everything. You keep some. Why? Because this is what determines how you become in some few years from now. Look at your mother's age. Look at your father's age. One day you'll become that age. I just want to remind you. One day you will become that age. But the kind of life you will live at that age will be determined about what you are doing in terms of asset you are building or liability you are creating for yourself today. So let me define. I've been mentioning asset, I've been mentioning liability. What is an asset? Guys, if you are joining for the first time, my name is Jide Neye, your favorite financial educator here on TikTok, and I like talking to my people from matters that concerns finance so that you can position yourself and get the kind of life you came here to look for. Very important. Guys, number 2, I will never come to your DM. Why? Because there are about 4 fake Jide Neye accounts that I know. I know there will be more. I will never come to your DM to message you first about one investment, about one opportunity, because you've heard me say recreating asset. I will never come to you. If anybody is doing that, is a scammer. So whatever I cannot share with you on this page, it is not from me. Please don't fall for it. Please, I'm begging you. All you need to do is just block that person. And that's why I always tell you, follow me so that you don't follow the wrong one. For everybody joining me for the first time, you are welcome. This will be one of the best sections you get because it will create perspective, clarity, and you can project into your future and know what you are building from now. Thank you for everyone who is for an asset. Let's put it in a very simple term. What is an asset? An asset is anything that puts money back into your pocket. In other words, that thing has the ability to generate money. That thing has the ability to appreciate over time. So, in as much as it's taking money from you, but it has the ability to put money back into your pocket. So, it has the ability to produce most often more than what it was imputed into it. So when you look at assets, you understand that asset is another thing that even when you are sleeping, it has the potential of keep working for you. For me, that's the height everybody must be aiming for. Why? Because it simply means I don't need to exert my physical energy for the thing to create for me again. Remember why I said that energy is reducing with age. So asset simply means whatever I am producing or whatever I have around me that has the opportunity to bring in money to me, that has the opportunity to bring appreciation to me. So you can have a rental property that you are giving out for rent at the end of every month and they are paying you rent for it. So you find that within that rent that they pay, inside you pay for your mortgage repayment, right? And the other part, you would have a profitability out of it. So suddenly that property, even though you put money in the first time, is no longer just another thing. It has become an asset. Why? Because it's generating return. It might be like you invested into the stock market. For instance, I'm somebody that preaches a lot of investment opportunity. You invest into stock market or you invest into ETFs or whatever vehicle you are investing into, and that vehicle was able to generate return for you within a year. All you have to do is I put my money inside them, and within a year it was able to produce a particular return for me. That has become an asset. You have some writings or some film or some musicals that people use and they pay you royalty for it. It's become an asset. So you create content for YouTube, you create content for TikTok, you create content for all these social media and what do you call it, platform, and they use your content because it's driving attention. They put ads on it and they pay you a portion of it. So they are paying you royalty for it. It becomes an asset. So anything you do, any skill you have, anything you create around you that has the potential of generating more income for you is an asset. I hope that is clear. Then the second one we need to talk about is called a liability. Liability is just the opposite of what an asset is. So anything that takes money from my pocket, anything that requires expenses and depreciates money from my pocket, it's a liability. Why? Because it is taken from me without adding back to me. Guys, remember I say it's not so much of how much you make, it is so much of how much you keep at the long run. So anything that is taking money from me, but it's not adding money back to me, it's a liability. So liability over time has the potential of draining resources because it's taken from you on a regular basis. So for instance, I have a car that I bought for £23,000 on car finance. The car is taking money from me in form of insurance. The car is taking money from me in form of car tax. The car is taking money from me in form of servicing. And the car is regularly taking money from me in form of repayment plan. However, the car is not producing money for me in return. So can you see that that car has moved from what could have been an asset to become a liability? Why? Because it's taken from me regularly, compared to somebody who bought the same car and is using the car for Uber or is using it for delivery. Can you see how the person has moved the car from being a liability to become an asset? So can you see why you must not make sure that you are increasing your liability threshold? Why? Because it's stealing your potential of creating assets. Especially during this your active season of your life. Whatever I'm doing, I'm asking myself, how can I be reducing my liability and increasing my assets? Now that I know that asset is the potential to produce more, while liability always takes more from me on a regular basis. I use overdraft, I use credit card. At the end of the month, it's taking something from me with interest. It is no longer becoming an asset. Why? Because I am using it on something that is not generating money back to me. So for instance, I use the overdraft to buy on Klarna. I use the credit card to go and shop in Aldi or Lidl or which of all these places. What I have used it to buy is called consumables. Suddenly that same thing is becoming a liability to me. As compared to, I use that card. Imagine I'm a baker. I use that card to go on Amazon to buy equipment so that I can use it for my business. Can you see that that same credit card, I have moved it from being a liability to become an asset? Why? Because it's helping me to generate something that can generate more. So you can see examples of what we are doing. The clothing lines that we keep buying, the things that we keep acquiring in our house without the potential to produce more. The new sofa you are buying, not because you have created assets. Remember, your sofa is not an asset. Hope you know. Yeah, £10,000 sofa is not an asset. It's not producing money for you in any way. Now let's come to the one that is a little bit touchy. Mortgage for personal, where you stay personally, your personal house, is not necessarily an asset. Why? Because at the end of every month, you are going to be paying the bank back with interest for the property that you bought on mortgage. But you know what makes it a little bit different? Why? Because if you are not paying the bank, you'll be paying your landlord. I say it, everybody is on a mortgage, either directly or indirectly. Some of us will take it directly, but some of us, the landlord will take it from us and will be making profit from us, inclusive. So in the short run, it keeps taking money from me. But do you know that if you position yourself, that same thing can build equity and give you cash for you to use to go and create another asset, even though it started as a liability. So, in other words, we've been able to identify that anything that puts money in my hand regularly and produce or appreciate is an asset. Anything that takes money, council tax, energy bill, all these things, they are liabilities. Some are, unfortunately, you cannot run away from it. They are liability you have to do. Remember what we said, that wealth is created by systems. So you need to sit down. Some of us even need to sit down and look at our bank statement and look at our general life and do our own asset to liability ratio. Where am I standing? Guys, we are talking about your future now. We are not talking about your immediate now. You see why I call money is a seed? Money is a seed in your hand. The money that I put into my overdraft repayment interest within 2022 and 2023, which is roughly more than £700, was a seed I could have sent into my future if I reduced the liability that I was opening myself to. You see why I tell you guys, download your account statement in the past 5 months. It will break it down and show you where your money is going to. It will show you what is stealing the seed for your future. Some of you will see how much Timo in this summer season. You'll be shocked how much Timo will take from you. You'll be shocked how much TikTok live shop will take from you in this summer season. Why? Because you are not sitting down to ask yourself, is this thing going to produce for me? Am I using a large chunk of what could have been an asset creation fund to buy liability? We need to sit down and do this thing. Why? Not just because of now, so that your future you can look at you and say, thank you for the smart decisions you made. I'm not saying don't enjoy your life. No, I'm not saying don't. No, enjoy your life, but don't enjoy your life at the expense of your future you. Ask yourself, whatever I'm building now, is it going to take care of my future me? Let me tell you how the rich people enjoy their life. The rich people don't enjoy their life by going to bank to borrow money and acquire liability. No. You say, man, no laugh you. Are they part of us now? So sometimes I put that laughter to tone it down. It's a very difficult conversation. So when I put laughter, it's deliberate to tone it down so that you know go they think too much. That's why. I did, my brother Eso. So it's important for you to sit down and look at your entire life and ask myself, what is the asset I'm building? What are the liability I'm incurring? What are the liability that are not needs, that are not deliberate necessity of life? Can I reduce it? What are the ways I can drop my liability gradually and start creating more opportunity for assets, knowing fully well that money is a seed that I can use to plant into my future? You need to sit down and do all these things, and nobody in the system will teach you. The system will make it easier for you to access money that is not your own, so that you can buy liability, than accessing money that you can use to create assets. Yes, you must know that this thing is a plan. It's deliberate. It's deliberate plan. You see why I'm not a total fan of building something around me that cannot take care of my future. I cannot keep celebrating overdraft and credit card all my life, knowing fully well that that money is not my own. And for every time I use it, I have to pay interest on many of them, some of the times. And for every time I depend on it, I am weakening my ability to start creating real assets for myself and my future. I've never said debt is bad. What I'm saying is the way many of us are using debt, we use it to acquire liability and we are not building assets. Someone else will take that same money that you are planning to go and use to buy car, £23,000 car as a carer. Somebody will take half of that money and ask himself, what is a problem that I can solve? Somebody will take that money and put into an investment system that can bring return to him monthly or yearly without having to do any extra work. For instance, my investment portfolio last year brought me nothing less than 44% return. 44% last year. That's the same money that could have been gone to something else. That's the same money I could have said, I work remotely, I'm a digital marketing manager, I'm doing well. I'll be going to Morocco, Albania, and Egypt last year. Guys, I love you. So whatever I'm saying, please don't take it personal. But some of us, we need to have this conversation with ourselves. Husband and wife need to sit down and ask ourselves, what are our projection for the next 2 years? What our plan for the next 5 years? We've been waiting for ILR. ILR is seemingly changing position. Even if ILR does not change position, if you get ILR today, does not mean your life will be sorted out. What's our game plan? We can't keep doing the same thing the same way and expecting a different result. What are we doing that is different from what we did last year? What are we building towards? What are we purchasing? What are we acquiring? If it's business we were doing before we came from Nigeria, how can we start that same version of business here? Why? Because you know that whatever brings money into you and gives you the opportunity to create assets. You see why we cannot be running like just be okay with social media life? No.
You are okay on social media, but your bank account is not okay. You are okay. You can show me that you went to Albania, which I don't have anything against it. I've gone there before. But when you came back from Albania, you have to use overdraft debts. You have to start paying for the credit cards that you used to go to Albania. Why somebody like me will go to Albania while I'm in Albania, the money I used for the trip of Albania, before I came back from Albania, I've made it back. Can you see the difference between what we are doing? You start creating more asset points that over time, that asset point will start feeding and helping you to fuel your liabilities. That is how the rich live their life. So if a rich man, I like this from Robert Kiyosaki, if a rich man wants to buy a car, for instance, he wants to buy a Maserati, and the Maserati is $120,000. The man has the £120,000, but he knows that that car is a liability, it's not an asset. Why? Because the car is not bringing money into his hand. You know what they usually do? They use that car for like I said, from Kiyosaki. What it does is he use that car to secure property. It might be some set of flats or condominiums. He bought that property with knowing that projection with this property, this is the kind of return the property will give to me. He now goes to the bank and borrow money to buy that Maserati. Now, the property returns on a monthly basis will be paying back the loan that he used for the car and also be servicing. Remember, you still service the car. Don't be just car you buy. Now, servicing. Servicing the car ends from his own personal life. Nothing needs to come from his pocket regularly to service that liability. If you create this kind of system, guy, your future will thank you. Your future will thank you. So you see a lot of delayed gratification in your life. So for you, it's like you are slow. Guys, and I say this to let you know that you don't have to be in the system for 14 years before you can build this. I'm barely 3.5 years in this system, and I'm telling you all these things. Why? Because it can work. It's not always about how much you are earning first. It's about the system you are running. The system you are running. So before asking God to give you extra £4 million, ask yourself, what system are you building? So that you don't keep having to go back to God next year again and ask for another £4 million. Haven't seen your father, the father that you are running back to, haven't you seen the way he ran the earth and he runs system? When last have you seen God say, we need to create baby, make we run, we need to go look for material, angel, whatever, go look for material, make them together, Chiamaka, they ask for baby. Inside what he created the seed and the system to replicate and keep it running. That is the same God we pray to for miracle regularly. Inside it, he created the seed and the system to replicate it running. You cannot wake up suddenly one day and you are shocked that, what is happening? It has been night for 48 hours or 92 hours. No, inside it, he created a system whereby by this social time, 12 hours time, it would have shifted again. Guys, you must understand that whatever you have, it is not good enough until you start asking yourself, how can I create a system for it to replicate itself? How can I create a system for it to keep producing again and again? You see why you have to move from this consumer appetite mentality to move to a creation mentality, a producing mentality. What financial move? We're talking about assets against liability today. We start thinking differently. The earth has not failed for more than 2,000 years. Childbirth, procreation has not failed for more than how many years? Why? Because it is run by system. It's not run by emotion. It's not run by how you feel. So you have to sit down and look at yourself and ask yourself, what are the seeds that I'm sending into my future? Now we'll talk about some things that I call liability trap. They disguise looking like assets, but they are trap. Number one is your car. Please, the moment you don't define what a car is, the moment you don't define what things are, you find out that the extension or the ability to extend it beyond what it is will be higher. A car is not a luxury equipment. A car is not a status equipment fundamentally. A car is purely a machine with the aim of moving you from one location to another. Bam. The moment you have that clear, bare minimum definition, you find out that the way you engage and you interact with this liability called a car will suddenly reduce. And you start seeing it at your level. You understand that I can start with a car of 2,000 pounds now because that's the level where I am. When I create more assets, whereby the asset and my lifestyle can take care of a car at 23,000 pounds, I will know. I said to myself, and I'm grateful for every time I did it. One of the greatest blessings we ever did as a family was not to buy a car with car finance. The first one, the second one, never to buy it with car finance. Why? For me, and I say it with all sense of humility, no, for me, I can't run anybody's life. My own is just to come here and teach. Understand? For me, I look at it and I ask myself, is this going to be an asset? Do I need it before I can go to work at all costs? Yes. Okay. See, must I get the one of 17,000 pounds or 18,000 pounds before I can go to work? The answer is no. How much can we afford? Okay, we have 80% of this money. Beautiful. Okay, can we get the money or raise the other part of the money from a system that is interest free using friends and family? Can I cannot. What kind of system can I use to purchase that car of 2,000 whereby I don't need to incur debt that I'll keep paying? Why? Because the moment I move that car from that dealership shop, the car has reduced in value. If I go back immediately and say I want to sell it back, you can never sell it at the same price I bought it. I'm not even talking about the future expenses the car will start incurring. So you see, car, it's a form of status, especially among we blacks. It's a form to show my status. How am I doing? How am I faring? Some of us bought our first house, and the way we bought the house, we bought it as if it's our last house. So they say you can afford 300,000 pounds from your affordability check. And because they said you can afford 300,000 pounds, you feel the house you should buy should be the house whereby you would need nothing less than 280,000 pounds. You know what you have done? You have extremely pushed yourself into a zone whereby you are buying a liability that is not going to bring money into your hand in a short time, but you are stretching yourself. You know what? I'll keep praying for you, especially for people like that. And it's only salary. It is only salary that you are using to pay back. Guy, it's not funny. It's a very dangerous place to be. It's only salary. You use it to buy car finance. It's only salary. You use it to build house, to book mortgage. It's a very dangerous place to be. Why? Because just one change in lifetime status, you find out that all what you are acquiring were not actually with the potential to create. They will keep taking from you no matter what has happened to your life. They will keep requesting from you. Can you see why we don't live? Like I said, my first house is not my last house, so it shouldn't be my best house. In fact, I'm even learning for the first time. Why am I feeling that I should get my first house should be my best house? So I don't have so much emotional attachment that it has to have 18 yards of backyard. It has to have, it's not my retirement home, but you want to buy, not the retirement home. It should not have 18 yards of backyard. It should not have like pimp everywhere to look like this. Am I saying I should not pimp my house? I'm not saying I should not. But what I'm looking at is what I am pimping to start with is first on the basis of the fact that this is a liability. If there's broiler breakdown, if there's anything that is happening, it will take money from me regularly. Can I reduce and mitigate my risk being my first time? My first time. Can I reduce the risk it will expose me? Something in finance, they call it risk exposure. When I want to do business and you ask for money, I ask myself, what is the risk exposure for the business you are asking me to invest into? Can I reduce it? Why? Because I know this is not my last and my final house. Can I get the best offer? Can I stop being emotional about the house, but rather look at the value of the house rather than the emotional attachment I have towards the house? Because when the real demand of life come, emotion no go stay there. Emotion no fit survive. The same emotion you use to make decision about the house will not be able to stay there. So before I buy, I'm asking myself, do I really need a 4-bedroom apartment for my first house? Within the next 10 years, projecting my life, do I need a 4-bedroom apartment? Would I rather buy something that is affordable, not at a higher risk exposure, so that I can start creating asset from the second one that I want to purchase? So I'm saying that when you make decisions like this, it should be more of a logical decision. Yes, there are emotions in it, but make sure there's a logical, valid explanation to that emotion that you are making. So sometimes our houses disguise somebody that is earning 40,000 pounds per year. The wife is earning 30,000 pounds per year. You are going for a house of 500,000 pounds. Nothing needs to tell you that for a long period of time, you will be stretching yourself financially. You'll be stretching yourself financially. And like I pray, just one lifetime change, lifestyle change will practically make everything you have been building looking like it's crumbling. Guys, I can afford to resign because even if I don't work for the next 6 months, I am able to afford my mortgage or any emergency that comes with my house. So I can afford to resign from 9 to 5 to put my energy into building something that is more asset for myself. Why? Because from the onset, I didn't put myself under critical pressure position. So imagine if my repayment of my mortgage per month is around 1,500 pounds. You know already, it's already telling me no matter what big dream I have outside 9 to 5, I have to be sure that that big dream is generating a minimum of 1,500 or 2,000 per month regularly. So you find out that people start to procrastinate on what they could have done with their future because of some decision they made in the immediate based on emotions. You see why you can't go to social media and look at the fact that somebody is pimping his house in a way. You too, you want to pimp your house in that way. No, number one, your earning capacity is different. Do you know if that person, what is pimping is after he has bought his rental property, he had investment, then he wants to pimp the house. But you went on social media, you saw somebody pimping his house, and the next thing is, I also want to pimp my house that way. But all you are earning in a year is 23,000 pounds. So can you see why that these are things that look like, in quotes, glorified, but they are liabilities in disguise? So am I saying don't use it? I'm saying use it within the measure of your ability without a large risk exposure. So for instance, if any change happens to the source of income, you see why it's dangerous to have one stream of income. If you don't know before, I believe you don't listen. It's dangerous to have one stream of income. It's a risky ground to stand. Why? Because if you start dabbling into growth, into some things that will bring stability to your family, you find out that it takes one change in lifestyle, and suddenly everything can start crumbling down. So can you see why it's always good to make sure you are building assets? Build assets before you start acquiring liabilities. Assets are things that can keep creating money again and again and again. You have the latest iPhone. The phone is not generating money for you. You have to match about 6 of them. If I ask today that today is pink day, you have a bag, a shoe, a wardrobe, everything that is pink. So you have every of these things, but you are not into clothing. You are not a clothing brand ambassador. You have all these things. You are not into fashion in terms of that's not your business. But you have all these things acquired. Yes, it has a way of making me feel good, but it's momentarily. Why? Because when tire hits the road and real challenges show up, those things, the feeling will disappear and real life will show me. Many people are acquiring clothing. When I hear people say, I rather buy gold, I say there's a level of intelligence in that. Why? Because when I resell it, it can appreciate in value. So also is property, right? When I resell it, it can appreciate in value. So in the immediate now, it might look like it was a liability. But if I take it back and resell, will it produce appreciation for me? Now, many of us, if you go to your wardrobe that cannot close again because of the level of cloth inside, or you go to your shoe rack and you look at everything in your shoe rack, you are not an ambassador of any of those people that you have that shoe in your shoe rack. But if you go to your shoe rack and you put everything on Vinted, you'll be shocked some of you will make as much as £5,000. £5,000. You'll be shocked some of you will make as much as £5,000. So we need to sit down and ask ourselves, that latest gadget I bought, not because the one I was using before is spoiled, is it going to create or produce more money for me? Must I have it before I can produce the results that that gadget wants to produce? Do I need 14 different kind of lights before I can stream? Do I need the most expensive phone? Do people come to listen to me because of the crispiness of the image of my picture? Or they come to listen because of the problem I'm solving and the value I'm creating? Would I rather buy a smaller version, reduce how much of seed that I am consuming, allow that thing to generate results? When the thing generates results at a higher level, then I can go for the iPhone 18. Instead of using payment plan to pay for the same iPhone 18 without something that thing would generate in the future. So we have to understand and start. All I'm saying now is, if you are listening, is start taking audits. Audit your life. This is your life now. Forget the social media life. I'm talking about your real life. When you're on your bed and you are looking at your account statement and you are looking at the situation of your life, sit down, audit your life. One thing I tell myself is, I don't want to look like I'm doing well. I want to know that I'm really doing well. So I don't want to feel I am doing well. I want to know I am doing well. So you need to sit down and do a quick audit. Can you list the things you own? I'm not talking about your chair. Can you list the things you own that has the potential of creating more income for you? Can you list that thing? Can you list the things that are taking money from you on a regular basis? Why? Because that will tell you a true picture of where you are. And from there, you can start asking yourself, how can I pivot myself from where I am right now into where I ought to be? For every time I'm depending on overdraft, what I tell you is, I am stealing the seed of my future to feed my momentarily now. I am stealing the seed of the future to feed the momentary now. So can you sit down and ask yourself, what are the assets I have? What are the liabilities I have? What are the things that are producing money? What are the things I can work on more to produce more? You start having that conversation. And why are you doing that? You are doing that so that you can stop the bleeding. By bleeding, I mean start identifying and eliminating unnecessary liabilities around you. Identify, eliminate unnecessary liability around you. Guy, our first car was a, what do we call it now? Was one of these Corsa Vauxhall car. Our second car was better than it. My third car will be better than it. So I can't buy car now as if this is the best car I will ever buy in my life. Instead of trying to start from the top, I start at my level. And I put some of the money I could have used to try and start from the top into system that can produce again and again. So what should be the goal? What should be the assignment? You have to start moving from thinking money to start thinking systems. Money only creates riches. It is system that creates wealth. You have to start moving from thinking money to start thinking wealth. Because money is not wealth. It is capacity to reproduce that creates wealth. So wealth is recreation or creating of systems that generate money continuously. Either I am there or either I'm not there. Riches is just temporary money in my hand, but without the potential of producing more. But I have it. £2,000 was my salary at the end of this month. That is rich. I am £2,000 rich. But that doesn't mean that £2,000 will create more by next month. So you have to move from thinking money to thinking system. How can I build system? Not just building my bank account balance. How can I build systems, not just building my bank and building the accounts? Many of us are okay with looking at our account balance and we are seeing £5,000. We just feel happy. There's just this happiness in our mind when we look at the account balance and I say £5,000. Yes, I am doing well. Yes, you are doing well, and I need to clap for you. But unfortunately, do you know that £5,000, the bank has used it to generate again and again and again, and the interest they will give you, I'm not sure it's even going to be up to £10 at the end of a year, 365 days, a year. Why that same money can move to as small as a cash ISA, even though cash ISA for me is still not the smartest, can move to as small as a cash ISA. And that same cash ISA will give you 3.54% in a year, even though that is still small. So you have to move from building money in your bank account to building systems that have the potential of recreating again and again. Guys, if you are joining me for the first time, my name is Jide Neye, your favorite financial educator here on TikTok. And I do something once every quarter called the Smart Financial Move series, whereby I stream for roughly 15 days every day, 6 p.m. UK time, talking about different topics as regards finance, so that we can position ourselves in a way to make sure that we are moving closer to the kind of life we said we came here to settle for, and stop blaming the system or waiting for the system to make us wealthy. So it's important for you to do that. The second thing is move from a consumer mentality to a producer mentality. Every one of us, God has given us something in us that somebody is demanding for. Every one of us, there's nobody I know that God created that there's nothing in them that somebody is demanding from it. But unfortunately, many of us use it only on our job, which is a short-term solution, salary, to a long-term problem, financial freedom. So unfortunately, many of us use what God has wired into us, starting with our brain, then our skill. We use it to generate a short-term solution called salary, and try to use that to solve a long-term problem, which is financial freedom. So you have to ask yourself what God has placed in me, the 14 years experience I had in Nigeria in this X and Y skill. Is there a demand for it here in the UK? Is there a problem in my community that I can solve and people can willingly exchange money in reward for that problem? Guys, there are two sets of people on earth, the producers and the consumers. And the consumers would always be subject to the decisions of the producer. Forget it. If there's inflation today, guy, who go bear am? You think say na producer? Na consumer. If there's any economic turmoil today, who will the bank first rescue or the government first rescue? It's the producers. It's the producers. So you have to understand that in creating wealth, you have to move from just thinking as a consumer to becoming a producer. Stop eating your seed. You should plant it for the harvest you are looking forward to. Especially now that you have energy to do extra shift, you have energy to do extra work. Can you use half of that energy to build something that will take care of your future, instead of doing it for a short-term solution? Salary. So you have to move from being a consumer to a producer. What is that thing I can solve problem for and people are willing to pay me for it? For me, last year, that produced more than my salary for me in return within 1 year. Why? Because I just put off the cap of consuming alone and I put on the cap of producing. And like I said, every one of us, there is a problem we can solve. There is something within us. If not, you will not be employable where you are working right now. There is a problem you can solve, but you have limited what that problem solution that you are creating can bring you back in return. Why? Because you have constrained it to a system called employment alone. Guys, we're talking about how to start building assets as against just acquiring liability. In life, you would have liability, but the aim is make sure that the asset you are producing is sufficient enough, not just to take care of your now, but also projecting into your future where it matters most. Why? In your future, you will not have. I can't imagine at age 60 or 65, I'm still coming on TikTok to teach all these things. Imagine still being a TikTok affiliate marketer at age 70. What's that telling you? It's a season. It's a season. So whatever I'm doing now, I'm asking myself, how can I take it as seed and invest into some bigger things in my future? I was talking to myself jokingly this afternoon. I said, it might be shocking to you that I might not be on TikTok next year again. Not because I am running away, but because of what I am looking at projecting and saying, you can retire at 55. It's possible. And I'm saying, if you are not deliberate about life and you are not taking your life into your hand and you are not putting seeds as plants into your future, it will look like you are not working. But you are working, but you are not creating systems that will take care of the future. So you have to move from being a consumer to be a producer. The next one is you have to move from just being a borrower to being owners. You have to move from depending on credit card and debit card to asking yourself, how can I create a system that can take care of me and beyond my immediate needs and project into my future? So you have to ask yourself, yes, my job is good. Yes, debt is good. But I know that debt is not a privilege if all I use on it is for consumables. It is a product that only enriches those who created it if all I use it for is for consumables. Overdraft is there, but is it weakening my capacity to ask myself, how can I produce more and live beyond overdraft? So you have to start shifting your mind from always asking myself, don't worry, overdraft, don't worry, I'll be able to meet your needs. And ask yourself, how can I live my life without depending on overdraft? And it's doable. It's doable. It's very, very doable. And this is why for me, I have zero tolerance for consumable debts. Zero tolerance. Zero tolerance. Except that debt has the potential to produce as an asset. I have zero tolerance for consumable debt. So you have to move from borrowing to ownership. There must be a shift in your mind and tell it is. Let's say it's not possible. Is it possible for people to live in this UK without depending on credit? Yes, it is possible. Yes, it is. Yes, it is possible. Yes, it is possible. Because once your mind cannot capture it that it's possible, forget it. Anything you do, you just become a product of what you have been carrying. So can you see that if you start thinking the way I'm talking, there are some things that you know that are just not needed now. Why? Because you are planting. You are like what the Bible called the ants. This is your summer season. You can work hard. You have money now. You can do extra shift. You can do many things. But instead of consuming it on loud spending, liability, you are putting in your colony. You are putting it, storing it, so that when winter comes, now you are 68, you are 70, they will beg you to do 5-hour shift. You cannot even do it. Why? Because there's no energy to push. But because of the asset you have created, while you still add energy, it can take care of your season in the winter. Guys, winter is coming. Not the Game of Thrones one. No. Winter. I just pray for you that your health will not break down, because winter can fasting for some people because of health condition. So guys, we need to sit down and move from just being dependent on borrowing to start asking myself, how can I hone? How can I hone this? How can I start using, even if I'm going to use borrowing, how can I use to create something to hone? How can I create something that I can hone? Hone means asset. It has the potential to produce for my future. The last one is, and this is where, as you grow old, you have to start moving towards this. You have to move from being the asset to creating assets. You have to move from being the asset to creating assets. As an employee, now you are the asset. But as you grow old, hope you know that your value as an employee will start reducing. Even your body will start telling you that you cannot push like before more. So if all you built was you being the asset, it simply means that when the age comes whereby you cannot be the asset again, there is nothing that can take care of you that period. So you have to start building assets that can outlive you. Assets that either you are there or you are not there, it is creating. So you have to move from being the asset. Yes, start with being the asset, but you have to start moving gradually. Ask yourself, what are the things that even when I'm sleeping, it can produce for me? So in other words, I have a knowledge. I can put my knowledge in a video course, automate the entire system. And when anybody need access to it, they can go there, access it without having to call me. So even if Jide takes vacation for 1 or 2 months, the thing is running. I can buy a property, put it in the hand of an agent to manage for me, so that even if I'm not there, it is producing by itself. So you have to move from being the asset alone to start creating systems that are assets. And this is why no matter what I am doing, brick and mortar, I don't sleep with digital assets. Do you know what it means as an investor to put my money into the investment market? And I have anything extra. And I look at my return last year and I say, whoa, this is crazy. This is awesome. So I sit down and ask myself, is there any way I can gather the knowledge? Guys, I paid somebody this month $450 to gather a particular knowledge. In quotes, it will make me the asset right now. But with that knowledge, it's just a matter of time. I can create another asset. So you see what I am investing my seed into. I'm investing my seed not just into immediate assets, but I'm also asking about what can I use to invest into futuristic assets. What is the knowledge? It might not be applicable to you. You know, I'm in the finance space, so I don't know what's your own passion. So your own passion should influence the kind of knowledge you are acquiring. But one thing I tell people, no matter where you are, the intersect between technology and your discipline or your skill, pay attention to it. That is where the future is. So everything I'm doing, I'm asking myself, how can I create a digital version of it? How can I leverage on technology? Look at it, 120 people is listening to me because of technology. So imagine if I had to create a program called Smart Financial Move, a physical location where I have to put 120 people. Do you know how much it will cost me? But because I look at what I have the ability to teach, and I look at the connection with technology, and I leverage on it. So I don't need to be under pressure physically before I can do it. All I need is just my phone and my internet with my funny light, my small light. That is all I needed. All I need, and I'll be talking to everybody or anybody I want to talk to. So start leveraging IT, leveraging technology. In fact, with the advent of AI, it's a lot easier to take what is your skill and build it. It's a lot easier now than ever before. I wish all these opportunities were around when we started what we used to call internet marketing. I'm talking about 13 years ago back in Nigeria. 13 years, 14 years ago back in Nigeria. I wish all these things were around then. You find out that many of the excuses you are having now is because you are not sitting down to do a personal profiling of who you are with your ChatGPT, with your Claude, with your Perplexity. You are not telling Perplexity what are the skill set I have and how can I leverage on this skill set to create assets. You are not doing all those things, even though they are there. And that's why I say leverage on. It's not about you coming to teach finance the way I'm teaching finance. If you are not wired for it, you see what I said, in your space, there is something there. I'm paying somebody is a seed into my future. I'm paying somebody that has already mastered that thing, coming to learn from that person so that I can increase my journey. Increasing my journey. Why? The more assets I can create, the more rest I can have with time. Now, what are the pillar of wealth building? Roughly, I'll call it, these are the keywords that no matter what you are building, pay attention to this. Number one is the knowledge economy. Guys, the knowledge economy. There is a massive demand for the knowledge you have. Many of you have 14 years experience. Many of you have taken care of your children. You had late childbearing. You were able to discover some things that could help you, and you had your own birth, the first one, the second one. Do you know that there is somebody somewhere that is going through that same pain, that is looking for somebody that can provide solution to help them? Guys, knowledge economy, don't sleep on it. Every pain you went through and you came out of it, you can create a framework, and there will be a set of people that will come through it, that will go through it or go through it with time. You were divorced, you became a single mother taking care of 4 children, and you were able to do it successfully. Do you know you can write a book around that thing and can help the soon coming, we are not praying for it, but some people, it's inevitable, it happens, the soon coming divorcees with 4 children or 3 children will take that same knowledge and they can navigate their life. So they don't need to replicate the same pain you went through. Why? Because you have been able to look at all your experience and you converted it to a knowledge that somebody will be willing to pay for. Remember, I said it's value that you give, the value you give. So knowledge economy, online courses, digital courses, consultancy, product-based online things, those knowledge economy, don't sleep on it. And you know why I like it? One of the reasons why I like it is the cost of production is always low. The cost of producing it is always going to be low for a lifetime. Eternity to eternity, it will always be low. You know another reason why I like it? It's not like bread that we know that when we go to buy bread, one bread is 70p or 50p. You cannot put a price tag on it. It is how you perceive the value that will determine what the price is. Knowledge economy. You know another thing, reason why I like knowledge economy? You can steal everything from me, but I can recreate everything back. Why? Because it is from knowledge. You see, somebody said something, and I believe it. He said, work on being than having. With what you have become, you can always have. Let me repeat it. Work on being than having. With what you have become, you can always have. I told you I paid somebody £450, right? Dollars, right? To learn something. For the next 2-3 months, I'll be a student in somebody's class. And she's older than me. You understand? I do that. How much is 1-room apartment in Leeds? People just they cruise is well. All right, back to our conversation. With that knowledge that I get, I discover with that knowledge, all I need is just internet and a laptop. With that knowledge, when I master it, I can create and recreate and recreate. Guys, there is no pain that you have gone through that should be wasted. Why? Because there's somebody somewhere in the world that is going to go through it. There's somebody, he said, Jide, no, the internet is saturated. There's so much information about it. Guys, do you know how many people around that is teaching about finance? Imagine me to say, no, there are a lot of people talking about finance. It is saturated. Even before they born my father, they've been talking about it. The question is, what is the gap that you are filling? What is the space that you are coming to fill? What is the void that is not being handled that you are coming to fill? And there would always be somebody that will resonate with you, but will not resonate with the other person. So you can't keep saying it's saturated. The reason why I not do it, or the reason why I cannot do it is because it's saturated. No, don't say it. Thank you so much, Ashanti. You're welcome. You can't say it's saturated. The question is, what is the spice? There's something that only you can give. There's a way I teach my finance that nobody can replicate it. There's a way I bring what I've learned and what I have gathered in experience, and I can explain it in methods and frameworks that you can practically pick it. Even if you are in Japan, you can utilize it and produce the same result. Imagine me now saying it is saturated. There are several people who are doing it, but God placed it in you for a reason. I'm flogging this knowledge economy. Why? Because it's one of the ones with the lowest entry barrier. Lowest entry barrier. You came in, you were what do we call it? You came in, you worked as what do we call these guys? As a security guard. You were able to move from being a security guard to become a CCNA certified with a networking project of almost £100,000 in salary. Do you know there is somebody who is also wanting to back on that journey? That you can hold their hand methodically and show them how to become it. There are many people who had wanted to invest here in the UK, that could not find their way around it until they met me. And when I look at my community and I hear the testimony sometimes, I am proud and happy. Over 200 people had gone through my training from investment. I could have said it's saturated. I shouldn't do it now. Why am I bothering myself? There are many people teaching it already. You know why I like knowledge economy? You can build it and it can run on its own. It can become an independent entity. That's number one. Number two, investment assets. Investment assets that give you passive income. By passive means you don't have to show up there for it to produce. One of them is rental properties, depending on the system and the model you are working. The other one is investing into stock, into REITs. Is investing into such things whereby I don't have to be there for it to produce. You can start small but compound it over the years. Guys, on Wednesday I'll be teaching investments in here in the UK to start with. I'll be teaching about investment. Make sure you don't miss it for anything. You understand? Investment property, investment, right? I mean investment assets, properties, shares, stocks. Guys, before you put your money into anything, learn and know how it is done first. Don't give your money to anybody to handle for you. Learn and know how it is done. So my mantra is learn before you earn. You see, I told you I'm paying somebody $450 to go and learn. To go and learn. Why? Because once I learn it, it becomes my own. What I can do with it, what I can do in it, it depends on how far I want to go, as compared to go and giving my money to somebody to do it for me. Once the person does not show up again, you know that earning well is ended forever. So I am always an advocate of learn first before you earn. On Wednesday, I'll be talking about investment. You will be learning about it, investment. The last one, which I would like to talk about here, is develop intellectual assets. Skills. Guys, skills are key. You know why skills are powerful? There are some people I'm following and I've seen where skills have taken them. I've seen where skills have opened bigger doors for them. Skills. So ask yourself, what is the skill set I can develop now that can change my earning capacity? What is the skill set I can have now that can distinguish me from the Bear Jones in my industry or in my skill space or in my knowledge space and can just put me above? Can you see why Bible says something? It says a man that increased in knowledge. I've forgotten what he said again. I've forgotten it. Jide, you don't forget the Bible. Yes, it says through knowledge. It says the house is filled with precious jewels. Another translation said keeping yourself abreast of developments. So the knowledge you are working with was not the knowledge that was applicable 6 months ago, 9 years ago. Keeping yourself abreast of development. We're talking about becoming a leader in your space. So intellectual capacity, increasing your skill goes a long way. We're talking about how to create assets today. So we've been able to identify that not everything in your pocket or in your house is an asset. It will be shocking to many of us that 80% of what we have around us are liability. They are not assets. There's no hope lost. You can just sit down and start directing the course. It starts with, I say to you, any month, make sure that 10% of whatever comes in as a salary is being sent as seed into the field of your future. Anything you are doing and you cannot put 10% aside for your future, it's becoming a very challenging thing. You have to force yourself to do it. For me, how did I do it for myself? I remember that our house rent became one of the biggest things that was taking money from us back to back. What we needed to do was just to move from an expensive location to another less expensive location. And in a year, we're able to save £6,000 in house rent. A year. And within another 1 year, that money we will save, not be so that we can do loud spending. Within another 1 year, we're able to move from being a rented apartment to buying our own mortgage. And our own house mortgage now has moved. Imagine where we started from 1,550. Now we are paying only £750. And house rent, whenever you pay, support in law, it don't go. It no go account for future. Oti law. We have moved from that system that is a perpetual liability, and we have switched that same ball into something that we can use to start creating, assets for ourselves. So you have to sit down, do a analysis and an assessment of where you are in different area, your skills, your skills. Look at what is consuming money from you. Look at all those things. He said, what do you think about or buying a council property? Unfortunately, I will not be able to talk about it because it's not my area of specialty. But I'm also thinking of bringing one person to talk to us between these next few days. I do this once every quarter. It's called Smart Financial Move Series, whereby I stream from 15th of the month till the end of the month, every day 6 p.m., talking about different topics that can help us leverage and have the kind of life we came here to live. So I'm looking at bringing somebody that will be talking to us about properties. I have experience to an level I can answer, but when you start asking some questions, I might not be able to answer. And for me, I not be the kind of person who would like to go and check ChatGPT before I can answer you. I never let you make a live decision with ChatGPT. It is not wise. So I'm not that kind of person. So what I like doing is bringing people who are experts in the space, people who have been doing it successfully, maybe for 4 years or for 5 years or 6 years. I like bringing people like that. So I'll be getting somebody. I've been looking for one person. I have two people in mind, but I'm not sure yet. But I'll look if we can get so that we can have a place to talk about property. I'll bring in my own small experience of what I've gotten, but somebody that can answer your question unbiased and not because they want to sell something to you. Please, that one is very certain. I'm very careful of those kind of things so that you can have that opportunity also. You've mentioned it now, so I'll think about it and do it before the end of it. But we'll continue tomorrow, 6 p.m. UK time. We'll be talking about business tomorrow. Now, we're talking about vehicles in which you can create assets. So, how can we start learning those vehicles and jumping on it? Business. We'll be having conversations around business tomorrow. By the grace of God, I'll be having my brother join me, Henry Idea, business tomorrow and see how can we start growing and building assets in that regard. On Wednesday, I'll be talking about investment. That one is my area of specialty. I'll talk investment on Wednesday. I'll talk investment on Thursday. Then we'll have opportunity to have. I'm looking at having a medical doctor also to come and talk about our health so that we don't keep up running after money and we are not taking care of the vehicle that is producing the money. Somebody said something. He said, "You have a message and you have a messenger." He said, as important as the message is, please take care of the messenger. Why? Because without that messenger, the message will never get to its destination. So you might feel the message is the most important thing, but the message cannot travel without the messenger. Our goals, our purpose, our drive, our ambition in life is the message. But the messenger is our body. We can have the biggest drive, the biggest goal in our life. If our body is not strong enough to carry it, the message will die. It's just a matter of time. Somebody said, you know that the richest place on earth is not the oil rig, it's not a bank, it's the cemetery. Why? Because that's where songs that were meant to win Grammy, but they were never sang. That was when properties and deals that would change people's life and transform, inventions that would transform the world, but never came. But one of the ways in which those things go back to the grave is because we don't take care of the messenger. So I believe we should also pay attention to our health, know our health state. That's why I also brought somebody to talk about insurance. So that all these things, there's nothing void. Ignorance is not a strategy. Walking in ignorance, sometimes it's a product. I use the word it's a product. Why? Because you become a victim of what you don't know. Somebody say, please add cash value life insurance policy as an I don't know what it is, but I had a section whereby we had somebody to come and talk to us about insurance, so that we can make sure that when we need that check called insurance, we are not regretting that we don't have it. All right, so I have uploaded all the videos of all these sections on my YouTube channel. I'm going to show you how you can get that YouTube channel now so that you can access it. Guys, I will never come to you. I will never come to you to tell you about one crypto, tell you about one investment. Anybody that comes with my face, with my name, no matter the number of videos that is in their channel, please, it is not from me. I will never come to your DM. If anybody is doing it, please, it's a scam. Avoid them. Why? Because there's at least I know about 4 fake scam accounts that is messaging people in my name, telling them about one investment or something. It is not from me. Anything I did not tell you here or we did not teach here, please, it is never from me. Don't fall for them. Please block them whenever they message you. Recently, because of this my smart investment moves series that I've been doing, so going around and messaging many people again, please, it is not from you. Don't fall for scam. Somebody was scammed, I think, is it £1,000 about 2 months ago. I will never do that. And the reason why they are doing that is because they know I am adding value. So they want to leverage on the trust that you people have for me. But please, it is not from me. Don't fall for me too. Anybody send you a message, that this is why I say follow me. Because if you are not following me, you will most likely be following the wrong one. And number two, the chances of losing money will be high because you will not be hearing things that will help you keep money or make more money. So please don't fall for it. How do you follow me? Just click the plus button beside my name. It is free. TikTok will not charge you for it. So how do you get access to all the past videos that we have been streaming? Today is day 12? Wow, it's day 11 already. Awesome. I've been streaming every day for the past 11 days, streaming and showing up, teaching different things that can be impactful. But my joy is not the teaching. My joy is the ability for you to take what I'm teaching and you can use it to make your life better. For instance, somebody was asking yesterday, how can I stop all the credit card? I have massive credit card with me. How can I stop it? One of the things I like to tell the person is look for a system whereby you can collapse everything into one card. There are different services like that. If you don't want to do it, if there's no charge on you, exiting from that card, talk to the company that you want to stop using the card. You can close the account. Do you understand? But I usually recommend if you have already opened it, for every time you are closing again, there's a way it can affect you from the credit system temporarily. Do you understand? But at least there are ways in which you can. So for me, this is my work. The ability to take a man who was making a decision because he never knew the implication and is able to make the proper decision and is becoming better. For instance, if you build assets tomorrow, not be my asset, but your asset. But I'm happy with the fact that you came here, you got the knowledge that could help you, and you are moving towards the life you are looking for so that we stop complaining all the rest of our life. One prayer I keep praying for you while you are looking for this thing is that the fact that your job, you no go lose your job, you no go lose your work, else no go fall in a position whereby it go difficult for you to earn. Why? This is when you would appreciate what I've been saying and the value that I have been creating. But the wise man, the Bible says, will see evil from afar. He go hide in earth. How? By the things he's doing. Let's start making smart decisions instead of working hard. Let's start working smarter and making decisions that will make you move close to the life you came here to look for. And please don't let anybody deceive you that it has to take a long time. Maybe you have to be here for 7 or 8 years before it's doable. It's not true. It's not true.
And I'm being honest with you with all sense of humility and respect. You don't need to be here for 18 years before you can move towards where you want to be. And some of you already have those things in you as seed. You just have to start navigating yourself towards that direction. Let me show you how you can access all the videos of this streaming that we've been doing in the past 11 days. I had to put it on the YouTube channel because people were requesting for it. So how you get to see it is go to my, what do we call it? Okay. Go to my bio. There is a link there. I will never send it to you in your DM, so be careful anybody sending you link. Click on it. I like opening it in a different browser so I can have it in the browser. When I open it in the browser, it takes you to my personal website, Jide Neye. All right, so the second link here, when you click on it, it takes you to the YouTube channel where you can have access the budget template. This is the budget template for those who were around during the budgeting. So once I click on this second one, it takes me to the YouTube channel. You will see all the videos that we've been having in the past 11 days so that you can go back again and watch, like the one we had today on asset and liability. Some of you need to share with your wife. Husband, you need to share with your wife. Wife, you need to share with your husband so that both of us can know what we are building and stop depending on the system to give us life. So there are several topics that have been covered, from mentoring, building upcoming generation, understanding insurance opportunity in the UK, stretching yourself to wealth zones, navigating your career path in the diaspora. We have a place where we talk about smart financial move for immigrants, understanding the journey. All these things are there for your consumption. I don't use them for my life. The easiest way to use it is for you to go there and also watch it. Tomorrow we'll be having an awesome section. Please don't miss it for anything. We'll be talking about how to start building assets from a business perspective. So I'll be having my brother, my friend, Henry Idea will be here tomorrow for another awesome section. Thank you everybody who has joined me. So your assignment today is to sit back and do an analysis of your asset to liability. If you had made some decisions that incur liability, if you need somebody to talk with, I am available. The link is in my button there. You can book 1 hour. Let's look at how can we move ourselves from where you are. But please, whatever I'm doing is not a financial advice. I'm going to just talk to you from my angle and explain, do this if you can do this, if you can do. So it's not an advice, it's just a suggestion from my end. But the point is, you cannot sit down doing nothing and expect it to cure. It will not cure. You have to start taking deliberate steps. I believe with these few points of mine, I've been able to convince you that what will take care of your future is not the momentary solution of salary. It cannot solve a long-term problem or financial problem. What will take care of your future is not the big car that you have now, or it's not the Gucci or the designers you are wearing now. What will take care of your future by extension means it's not the liability you are acquiring now, which does not have potential to produce more. It's the asset you are creating. It's the property you've put on rentals. It's the investment you have into the stock market that is producing money. It is the business you have set up that is creating value that somebody is willing to pay for. Those are the things that you are using to create assets, so that when you don't have energy to work again, the things that you have built will take care of your future. Everything coming into your hands now, everything is not an harvest. A portion of it ought and must be a seed that you put into the soil of your future, so that when you grow and you are 68, you are not just depending on pension that is not enough to take care of you, but you have built real assets that will outlive your time of active work. Please make sure you do this so that in the future you will thank yourself. Actually, your future, you will thank you now for the decisions you make. Thank you, everybody. If you are not following me, like I said, just click the follow button. We'll join me tomorrow again by 6 p.m. I'm so happy we are getting close to the end already. We're happy. Guys, do you know what it means to show up every day, 6 p.m. consistently? Let me clap for myself. Let me clap. Wow. Every day, 1 hour, 30 minutes, some 2 hours, some almost 3 hours. Showing up every day. Every day.
All right. Please, the best thing you can do for me is to use what you are hearing. Use it. It's not about attending. You can be as good as the person who did not hear it if you did not use it. So please, you should be sitting down. We are adults now. We should be sitting down at the end of every stream and ask myself, okay, Jide, where are you? This is what I need to work on now. So I have something that is called to-do list. When I'm finishing, I'm asking myself, what's to-do list from what I've heard? All right, so I need to look at my assets against my liability. What are the things that are taking money? What is the system I'm using to build what will bring money? If all that is bringing money to me is my salary, what is the skill set that I can develop that can increase my earning? Can I start identifying people who have the need for that thing and start? Can I look for somebody, who is already doing it, and I can be mentored by that person to hold my hand so I can start getting close to it, so that I don't learn by experience and pain. I learn from somebody who has done it before. So you start asking yourself, create solution. You take it one step after the other. You start moving. The debt I have, okay, what is the thing I need to deprive myself of that I'm doing again and again, so that I can start clearing the debt and move from borrowing to ownership. You are sitting down, you are looking at your account statement in the past 5 months, you download it, you put into ChatGPT or perplexity.ai or Claude.ai. You tell the thing to analyze and show you where your money is going to, so that you are not always shocked where your money is going to. You will discover where are the loopholes and what is your work. When you start discovering, don't just say it is well, God will help us. No. Discover those things, start creating systems that are going to block those leakages. Don't subject it to, I will not do it again next month in Jesus' name. Fire. It will not work that way. You have to create systems that will start blocking those loopholes, those leakages. For instance, if it is your over expense, your purchase, your impulsive purchases, how can you reduce your access to that impulsive purchase portal? So some of us, it is Timo, it is Shein, it is Amazon. For me, I deleted the app from my phone. The only way I can purchase from Timo, Shein, and Amazon is until when I come on my laptop. All the notification that Timo used to send, I will never see it. And what I cannot see, I cannot buy. Another thing I did there was to create a budgeting system, telling myself that I cannot keep eating all my seed. So I told myself that this is my allocation for the flex life that I want to do now. Okay, it might be 50 or 100 pounds every month. I keep it into a different account. I don't put the account whereby there's money. You know, the account whereby even if there's no money, there's overdraft. So that is not the card that I attach to all these shopping commerce sites. No, I attach a card whereby I have to move money into that card before I can spend it. So I'm not subjecting to my emotions. I'm creating systems that can checkmate me when my emotion is flying. You say, but Jide, for TikTok, that is difficult to do. Are you saying I should go and delete my TikTok app? No, I'm not saying so. Why? Because they've tied it together. Those guys are intelligent. These Chinese guys, they are intelligent. They've tied it together. So what do I do for my TikTok? I also like buying. So what I did was intentionally, that Play Store that you have, you know that their card that you have attached to it is your major central bank, where your salary is coming into, where your, what do we call it, where overdraft is. I remove that card from my Play Store. I put another card whereby I have to move money before I can purchase. So you find out that there is no free flow of money outside. I was not depending on my ego to discipline myself. I was creating a system that will always checkmate me. That's number one. Number two, I know that many of us buy on impulse, especially now that it's summer. Immediately you see the shopping cart, you are clicking to buy. So what did I do? Instead of buying, I add it to cart. I come back after 48 hours. If I still feel the same way I felt when I saw the product in the first place, then I know it is a need. It's no longer a want. You know what I discovered after coming back 48 hours? I discovered I did not feel that same drive that I felt when I first saw the product, which is to show that many purchases are based on emotions. They are not based on what you need. So the seeds that I could have planted for my future, I'm buying it, I'm using it to spend buying things that I don't need and cannot cater for my future. So you found out that suddenly I found out that wow, 88% of what I had to my shopping cart, I will never need it. Why? Because the more I add, then suddenly I started knowing that the maximum you can add to your shopping cart is 99 products. Why? Because when I saw another thing and I wanted to add, and I discovered that I have to go and remove some things I added some few months or some few weeks or some few days so I can add new things. So imagine 99 products that I could have literally bought, not because they are needs, but because they are wants. Guys, you have to start creating systems that will uplift your emotional feeling to deal with your expenses so that you don't create more liabilities for yourself. So money that could have been a seed into my future. Now, Klarna and ClearPay has even made it easy for you to acquire liabilities. You don't need to pay for it at once. Just split it into 3 months. Guys, go into your account statement, like I said, for especially the Klarna gang and the overdraft gang and the Clear Score gang. That are saying this is one of the best things that happened to you in UK. Go to your account, download it for 5 months, and see how much you have spent on Klarna. And tell yourself why you did not have the money for down payment, or why you are not able to build down payments to buy your property. You will see the answer there. Some of you need to go and download that thing, and you see how much you have sent as Lemfi to Nigeria, and you are not building house in Banana Island. So you have to sit down and take your life as a project, because that's why you are going to work, for crying out loud. And you will never be like this forever. So how can I start mitigating what I'm doing and create a system whereby I can build assets? How? By creating something that can bring money into my hand regularly, as against taking money from my hand. I love you guys. I love you, and I'll always tell you the truth. Sorry to anybody that is affected in any way, that's an affiliate or any other thing. I am sorry, but I love you all. I love you. But make sure whatever you are doing, you are building to take care of your future. Yes, I need to say sorry. Make the notice say I come from them. I'm not coming from them. I'm not against people buying, but I'm against people buying what they don't need as against what they want. Especially when you know that going to buy what you want, you have to go above your budget, because there's something called ClearPay or there's something called Klarna. God bless you all. We see tomorrow. I've broken enough table. Let me rest. We'll meet tomorrow by 6 p.m. UK time, where we'll be talking about business. We can all be at the top, and we can live life well, especially in this abroad. God bless you. Bye-bye. Some people no go like me. Me, I know, but me, I like them. I like every one of you. I love you, and there is nothing you can do about it. I love you. I love you. I no one more raise GoFundMe for you for future. That's why we dey do all these things. I love you. Many of us cannot go back and relocate back to Nigeria because there's nothing to take back. I love you all. I love you. I love you, and I'm saying it from my heart. We can do better. This land will produce increase for us. This land will open opportunity for us, but we cannot be doing it the way we have been doing it now for the past 2 or 3 years. And things will change. It will not change that way. I'd rather spend from abundance than to be spending from borrowing. It's possible. Your name can add £5,000 to your name, and you have no business to do overdraft. It is possible. I love you guys. I can continue because I'm passionate about this, but I have to go. We meet tomorrow by 6 p.m. UK time. If you are not following me, click the follow button. I will meet again tomorrow. Bye bye. Love you.